topic of microdosing and psychedelics, and what's your thought on it, and what's the science say in its relationship to autoimmunity?
The science is what really galvanized me because I had this interesting conflict with someone in my family where uh, this woman got mad at me and we had a falling out and we were estranged for about a year. And this is someone that I really care about and would talk to FaceTime with all the time. And as this happened, it was right around the time that we were starting to see clinical trials with MDMA-assisted therapy. So the work of MAPS and Rick Doblin, we were starting to see people with post-traumatic stress disorder who were treated with MDMA, usually 2 or 3 times over a 4 to 6 month period. And we were seeing these dramatic results. So that juxtaposition is what got me really excited about the possibility of psychedelic medicine. MDMA isn't a classic psychedelic, but it's poised to be the first FDA-approved medicine in this space. So what was shocking to me is I started to look at this data because I didn't learn a lot about trauma or nutrition when I went through medical school. When I looked at the gold standard for what we do for post-traumatic stress disorder, I was really shocked, Will, to see that talk therapy with or without a selective serotonin reuptake inhibitor, and there's 3 that are FDA approved for PTSD, that's really the gold standard. I mean, sometimes trauma-informed talk therapy, but the efficacy of this approach is around 30%. And when I started to see these trials, randomized trials with MDMA-assisted therapy for PTSD, the efficacy was on the order of 2/3 no longer meeting criteria for PTSD. 71% in the latest randomized trial, no longer meeting criteria for PTSD after 2 to 3 treatments. So seeing that, 30% efficacy, especially as someone who did talk therapy, like from my 20s, I was like, God, if someone gave me informed consent and said, going to this therapist once a week and spending thousands of dollars and so much time has an efficacy of 30%, I don't know that I would have done it. It didn't resolve my trauma because that part that kind of understands trauma in your brain is different than the part where it's stuck, where it's got this signature that kind of lives on in your system. So that's what got me interested and curious about psychedelic medicine. So all to say, Will, I was a total square, like no cannabis, nothing until I turned 50. And then as I started to see this data and I had this conflict with the family member, I was like, if there's a way to resolve trauma and it's psychedelic medicine, sign me up. I want to try it. I want to do everything I can to clear trauma out of my system.